What's up, guys? This is Prodigy.Entertainment. We're here to predict the second round of the Norcal State Playoffs. I'm Cameron Duncan, here with Gavin Rigo. We're going to get right into it. Starting off with the number 2 seed, St. Mary's, versus the number 3 seed, Archbishop Mitty. Archbishop Mitty beat Granite Bay 8-2 in the first round. St. Mary's won on a walk-off bunt by Tanner Grove to win in 9 innings like I projected. So if you ever say my predictions are bad, think about that one.
You also predicted Granite Bay to win and Rockland to win. And you predicted Oakmont to blow out Gridley, so you're like, realistically, you're like 1-5.
That was a straight-on prediction. I said the game was gonna be 4-3. They actually won 5-4. So I mean, like you saw from my predictions, I thought Granite Bay was gonna beat Mitty, but they did not. They beat him 8-2, and Mitty didn't even throw their best pitcher. So they're gonna be going into St. Mary's, probably throwing their number 1 guy. And St. Mary's is going to throw Michael Quedance, who hasn't thrown in, I think, about 2 weeks now. So he's going to have a fresh arm. And what we saw yesterday from Oakmont is their guy hadn't thrown in 12 days. His arm was fresh, but his velo was up, but his control was definitely down.
I mean, definitely. I think, and this is something I talked to you about at the Oakmont game. It's really like, while these seedings may look a little weird, realistically, all the teams are going in into an unknown territory because most of the teams have never played off against each other. I mean, we expected Oakmont to do really well against Gridley, and they came back from a 4-0 loss. But at the same time, it's like it's the 1 seed versus 8 seed. You expect Oakmont to blow them out, but it's just because it's unfamiliar opponents. And I think it's going to be the same thing again because I don't think they've played each other in a few years, honestly. Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, we see what St. Mary's can do when they beat out Rockland. I mean, if they have another great pitching game like that, then yeah, I think they're set because I don't think Mitty can beat them on that. Yeah. But then again, I mean, Mitty went out and blew out Granite Bay, and I mean, they beat Whitney in the preseason. Anyway, I definitely think that St. Mary's is going to come out and ball out just like they did against Rockland, and I'm going to give it to them 4-1.
Really? You think it's going to be like that?
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to get the one hit, that one run like Rockland did. I think they're just going to keep running it back, though.
Okay. So yeah, like we talked to the coach about, they said they've been home a lot, and it feels like they always give up the first run, but then they go out and score 6 in the next 2 innings like they did in the section championship. Depends on who Mitty throws. I'm not really familiar with their pitching staff. We're not familiar with really any of these teams, honestly. We know, the team that we know most about right now, Oakmont. It's got to be Oakmont. But other than that, it's Elk Grove and St. Mary's, and we've seen Elk Grove a couple times and St. Mary's once. Yeah. So the scouting reports aren't perfect, but we talk to players, we talk to coaches. We're trying to give you guys the best analysis. But I'm going to go with St. Mary's winning 5-3.
Really? Yeah. You think they're going to give up 3 runs?
Yeah.
St. Mary's defense is pretty good. I mean, that's what gave them that seeding, and that's what got them to the championship, is mostly their defense.
Archbishop Mitty hitting just scored 8 off of Parker Jennings. So
that's true, but I mean, we really didn't see that game. We don't know how well he threw because Granite Bay is a little inconsistent in their pitching.
His velo was a little down, but
I mean, yeah, that happens. I mean, look at Gridley scoring 4 runs in the first inning against Oakmont, but then Aiden came out and popped out and started and shut him out the rest of the game. So, it's just one of those things where it's probably going to come down to a pitcher versus pitcher matchup again.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just going to be who has a better day,
Mm-hmm. So we both picked St. Mary's. Moving on to the next game, we have De La Salle versus Granada. Next up, we have Granada versus De La Salle. De La Salle just beat Rockland, and they hit a grand slam to take it over the top, and they won 5-4. It was really, really close game. But St. Mary's beat Rockland by a lot, so I think St. Mary's is a better team than De La Salle, but Granada is just on a whole different level.
Well, Granada was the winning team of De La Salle's division. Yeah. That whole league, they came in first, De La Salle came in second. So I mean, this is a league matchup all over for these two teams. I mean, they're both familiar with each other. It's one of the rarest things you see in Norcal. Is 2 teams being very familiar with each other. But I think, honestly, that grand slam, while it was a good hit, it is lucky that they got that, You had to build up to having 3 people on base and then get a grand slam to beat Rockland. I don't know what that really says about De La Salle's hitting, other than that one person, but I mean, realistically, I don't think De La Salle comes out with a win here.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Granada winning 3-2. All right, moving on to the D2 bracket. All right, starting off in the D2 bracket, we got the number 1 seed, Carla Newman, versus the number 5 seed, Elk Grove. Elk Grove did not throw any of their 2 pitchers who threw in the section game, so I think are their 2 best pitchers, Ned Frucci and Chase Pettis. So whoever they're going to throw, probably Ned, I think they're going to come out with the win.
You really think so?
I think Ned is one of the best pitchers in California.
Well, last time these 2 teams played, Cardinal Newman came out on top 4-2, but realistically, it was a non-league game. It was more of like a scrimmage, so I don't think either team was really throwing their best pitchers. I don't think either team was really having their best hitters up, just giving other people a chance on the team. So we really can't take that into account. But you know what? I do think Elk Grove, I like the persistence. They got a lot of drive, especially going in and already upsetting a team.
Yeah, they've upset a lot of people. They've upset Whitney. They just upset Kingsburg, winning 5-0.
I know they blew them out. It was not close, and that was a game we were very surprised about, honestly. Yeah. Even though you predicted the win, you did not predict that score.
Elk Grove's pitching staff might be one of the best in the area.
It definitely is deep, and I think the first, second, and third pitchers are all
really good.
Really good, all really tight in the skill. They can definitely start any of them and be in a pretty solid spot.
Yeah.
Elk Grove's got that motivation, especially losing to Granite Bay in 5 extra innings.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to let that happen again. I got Elk Grove winning 2-1.
Okay. I think it's going to be really, really close, like you said, 2-1. I'm going to go with them winning 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, 1 point. I think this is going to be an insanely close game, but I think that Elk Grove has the drive that they need. And I mean, Cardinal Newman barely walked away from beating Chico 2-1. Obviously, they probably didn't throw their best pitcher.
Yep.
But still, to keep the game that close, especially in the first round and you're going against the 8th seed, not something we really want to see.
We're going to skip to the D3 bracket. We got Oakmont versus Christopher. Oakmont's going to go with Trevor Wilson, who no-hit Whitney earlier in the year and just threw an absolute gem against Central Catholic to win the section championship. He's going today, giving Aiden Drigenberg some rest, so hopefully Aiden can start on Saturday. But we don't know really much about Christopher, but Oakmont's got a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean, Oakmont did start off slow in that first game. They gave up 4 runs, but Lyra, their first baseman, really hyped them up and got their motivation, their drive up, and I mean, they came back and scored, I think it was 4 and then 2 in the next one.
They scored 5 in the second inning, I think, and then 1 in a later inning. But that game shouldn't have been close.
No, that game shouldn't have been close. There was a lot of mistakes right off the bat, but I think Oakmont, the coaches there are very driven. The team is very driven. I think they're going to work on those mistakes, fix them up, and they're going to come out ready. Christopher blew out Liberty, winning 12-4 in their game. Yeah, like we said, I mean, we looked at Christopher's opponents. Not a lot of them we even know are really high schools.
Yeah.
I mean, they came 3rd in their league. I don't really know what that says about the league, though. Like I said, we don't really know too much about them, but I got Oakmont winning 4-1.
Okay, that's a really good prediction. Yeah. That's a really good one. I'm gonna go 3-1. 3-1 Oakmont.
I mean, Lyra's hitting has been on point, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hitting drives.
Yeah.
And a lot of Oakmont's teams.
They're not throwing him anything.
Yeah, I mean, Oakmont had, 9 hits that game?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So, if, Christopher's got to come out with somebody who's got, I think a pretty decent changeup is the only way to beat Oakmont, because we saw, Ridley was just throwing high balls and
high curveballs, yeah.
And both of those, just led to Oakmont getting hit. So, I think it's just going to come down to Christopher's pitching skill, because Oakmont is pretty refined as a team.
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance that this game goes sideways, but you never know.
That's going to wrap up the second round predictions. We're going to be at the St. Mary's versus Archbishop Mini, so pop out, say what's up to us. That's going to be a hell of a game. We'll see you guys Saturday morning for the potential championship games.
Check it.